Alright, in this video, I'm gonna focus on introduction to reflection of light. Introduction to reflection of light. So before we solve some questions on reflection of light, let's get the definition of reflection of light. Okay, please take a note, please. Reflection of light is the bouncing back of light rays. Reflection of light is the bouncing back of light rays when reflection of light is the bouncing back of light rays on a smooth surface. Reflection of light is the bouncing back of light rays on a smooth surface. For example, mirror. We take mirror as a case study. Take mirror as a case study, right? Okay. So before we move into the laws of reflection and calculation on reflection, let's look into the major types of reflection. Though we have other reflection, but we want to look into the major types of reflection. So the first type of reflection, that is one, is said to be regular reflection. So let's know what regular reflection is. Okay, now let's take a note on regular reflection. Okay, that's right. Regular reflection can be defined as the reflection that occurs on a smooth surface. The reflection that occurs on a smooth surface. The reflection that occurs on a smooth surface. This table. So our main point here is on a smooth surface. So that reflection that occurs on a smooth surface is known as regular reflection. Let's look into the next one here. The next one is said to be irregular reflection. Of course, irregular is the opposite of regular reflection, and it's said to be the reflection that occurs on a rough surface. The reflection that occurs on a rough surface. That means that reflection that occurs other than mirror surface is said to be irregular reflection. The reflection that occurs other than mirror is said to be irregular reflection. Okay, so before we solve a question here on reflection, let's be guided, and the only thing that will make us to solve, the only law that will make us to solve problems on reflection is laws of reflection. Okay, so let's consider the laws of reflection. Okay, laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. So the first law of reflection here, the first law of reflection is, please take a note here, A, the angle of incidence I is equal to the angle of reflection. The first law of reflection here is A, the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. We are going to know what incident ray is. We are going to know what incident angle is. We are also going to know what reflection ray is, and we are going to know what reflection angle is. Please take note. But here we are trying to consider the laws of reflection, and the first one here is telling us that the angle of reflection or the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Please take note. All right, so the second one here, B, the incident ray the reflected ray and normal lie on the same plane. The incident ray, the reflected ray and normal lie on the same plane. So this is what the second law is trying to explain here. If I have a smooth surface, for example a mirror, if I have a mirror here, all right, so if there's a ray that is an incident ray on this mirror, there'll be a bounce back, which is said to be reflection. So I have this to be incident, I have this to be reflection. So there'll be a line here perpendicular. Please take note of this, a line perpendicular, and we'll call this perpendicular line normal. Please take note, we call this perpendicular line normal. If that is said to be so, we have an incident ray, we have a reflected ray. This is said to be an incident ray. Please take note, this is said to be a reflected ray. So in terms of angle, this is said to be an incident angle in terms of angle, and this is said to be a reflected angle. Please take note. So downward to incident angle, please take note of this. Downward to this incident angle here, we have glancing angle. That is, we use a glancing angle. Please take note of that. Downward to incident, we have glancing angle. Please take note of this. Okay, so downward to reflection, we have deviation angle. This is to be deviation. Please take note, and we use D to represent this. So at every point, whenever you locate your incident angle, which is this, downward to this is called glancing angle. Whenever you locate your reflection, which is this one here, downward to this here is called deviation angle. Please take note. So class, let's solve some questions here on reflection of light. Okay, let's take question 1 here. But before we take question 1 here, all you just have to do is to hit the subscribe button. You can like, you can share, okay, to get the full video on calculation on reflection. Okay, thank you so much.